Everybody seems to be saying that Google Gemini 3.1 is insanely smart, but when you just look at benchmarks, it's kind of hard to get a feeling for what that means, especially for something like English learning. So in this video, I'm going to put it to the test to really try to push the limits with 5 English learning related tests. And for comparison, I'm going to be doing the same tasks in GPT 5.2, which is the latest model in ChatGPT. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and also check out the 90-day program in the links in the description. Let's begin. So Gemini 3.1 is supposed to be very good at multimodal. So whatever you upload, it can just handle it. Audio, text, video. So how good is it at, for example, watching a video? Let me show you this 32-second video, and then I'm going to ask Gemini 3.1 to watch it and give me a detailed breakdown of everything that happens. This could be very useful for English learning if you have a video clip where something might be unspoken or spoken, but it's not obvious what it means in this context. So how does that work? Okay, so the clip first. Okay, so here I am, first hand and face. Now you have to remember this. We have to remember this. Okay, then a thinking expression. So hand and face, thinking expression, then some sort of maybe surprise or an idea maybe. Oh yes, a realization. Then number 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 4, 2, 2. Then a thumbs up, and then, oh, at the last second, an expression of terror. Real serious terror. What an idiot. Okay, so let's see what Gemini gives us. And this is just the first attempt. Here's a breakdown of the different emotions and gestures expressed in the video. And then the timestamps for everything. Well, we have to keep it fresh in our minds. First, remember, is this one. So the man is rubbing his face and eyes with his hand, appearing tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. Deep thought, contemplation. He rests his chin on his hand, narrowing his eyes. Yeah, exactly. Then epiphany, surprise. His eyes suddenly go wide and his mouth opens in a eureka moment. And also a lot of learning moments there. So learning from mannerisms and expressions and gestures. This is so cool. Number 1, he holds up an index finger. Number 2, he adds his middle finger to show number 2. Number 3, he adds his ring finger. Number 5, he opens his hand completely, skipping number 4. Now, it didn't show because I think I did 5 twice. I think I did that, right? And so it didn't catch the double 5. And I also did 2 twice like that. So that might be too subtle, but this is still pretty cool. Number 4 and then number 2. And this could be also a peace sign, but probably a number 2. And I did do it twice, so it didn't catch that. And then finally, approval, satisfaction. He leans back and smiles. And then there's a thumbs up. But that wasn't the end. Then I ask, what about the final thing at the very end of the video? You're absolutely right to catch that. There's a quick final shift at the very end at 0:31. Realization, shock. The oops. So that expression at the very end is something like shock. His eyes go wide again and his mouth drops open in a comical oops or oh no. And it was kind of comical. So all of that stuff, the micro expressions, that's the term for it. It's shockingly accurate. Right? The only thing it missed was the frequency of double numbers, right? So this one and this one it missed. That's it. It's so subtle. So imagine just uploading any video and being able to get as much information, rich, descriptive information as you need from it. How much can you learn from video if it's not just about the words that are said? It's pretty mind-blowing. All right, let's do the same thing in ChatGPT. We upload the file, same exact prompt. All right, it's been 10 minutes. It says it's still working. I'm going to move on. All right, now this one is completely crazy. This is called, I think, a needle in a haystack test. Basically, you provide a huge amount of text, and if it can find something very specific in the text, that means you can work with the whole text. Often when you're working with AI and you use a large text, it doesn't have the whole text in mind. So if you get a summary or create something new with it, you don't really know if you're actually getting something based on the whole text. And that's because AI models have something called a context window. But Gemini 3.1 has a huge context window, 1 million tokens, gigantic. And so to really push the limits, I just pasted in the chat all of Moby Dick, the entire novel, 208,191 words, over 200,000 words. But I didn't paste the novel in perfectly. I changed one little thing. There's one place later in the book where one guy says to another, he's got an upset stomach, give him this. And it's something I don't know. I replaced that with Pepto-Bismol. So what I want to see is, can Gemini find the needle in the haystack? So this is what we get. The book is Moby Dick, or The Whale by Herman Melville. The one thing changed is in chapter 81. You replace the word paregoric or parigoric, I don't know how to say that, with Pepto-Bismol. And to be clear, I didn't provide both versions. I only provided the version with Pepto-Bismol. And it still is able to tell which thing doesn't belong, which it's just mind-blowing. Okay, so we go back to ChatGPT to try the same thing, and it can't process the video. Okay, so I first tried to paste in the whole text like I did in Gemini, and it wouldn't let me. So that means its context window isn't big enough. So I uploaded the whole thing as a PDF. Can it find it? It thought for 27 seconds and failed. ChatGPT 5.2, the most advanced model that OpenAI has on offer right now, thinks that the difference is something related to the file name. No, it's not. It's Pepto-Bismol. Google got it right. ChatGPT got it wrong. So then, just for funsies, I thought, could I take Moby Dick and turn it into an interactive game? So I turned Moby Dick into a prompt using Gemini 3.1 that I then pasted into Google AI Studio using Gemini 3.1 Preview and asked it to build me a simple, interactive game that would make Moby Dick, the story, interactive. And this is what I got. Now, to be clear, this is the very first version. I know it's quite small here, but I have a little guy. I can walk around on the docks. This is the beginning scene of the book. So if I type E, then I can interact. And let's see if it'll play audio here.
Landlubber. You look like a man with a mind to go somewhere, and not much coin to get there, lad. If it's the whaling you're after, you've the look of a green hand about you, the kind that thinks the sea is all poetry till the first gale hits. The Potomac there is fixin' to cast off for New Bedford within the hour. If you've a few shillings for the passage, you'd best get aboard before the fog swallows the Narrows entirely. Or are you just standing here to watch the tide come in?
So I like how it actually is giving me a voice, an accent, right? It's stylized. It's not just somebody reading it. It sounds like a character. So I can read it and then I can respond. I can say what I want to do. I can say, okay, let's go. Okay, so it's kind of a text-based adventure with simple movement. And again, this is just the first version. I could maybe make it more interactive. But on a first attempt, it works pretty well. And I like that there are character voices. And did I just turn a novel into a basic video game? Yes, I think I did. Test number 4. What I want to do here is add labels to this image. You can see there's a lot going on here. There's a winter scene. There's a window. There are blinds here. This thing is called a poof. This is an electric ride-on vehicle, or sometimes called a UTV or a toy UTV. Anyway, there's a lot happening here. This is my son sitting on it, and this is a little track. It has a little launcher for Hot Wheels. So what I want to do is I want to add labels, but I want the labels to be really specific. So generic labels, no, I don't want it to say window, computer. I want it to say what kind of window, what kind of computer. What exactly is this thing? It's not just a toy. What exactly is this thing? What is this called? Right? It's called a poof. So fully annotate this image. Assume I don't speak English well. Then I get a list of things in the image, okay? But I feel like it's not quite specific enough. Windows, large glass panels that let in sunlight. I'm still not satisfied with how specific that is. So be more specific. This is too generic. Now I have a more specific list. I'm liking this. The trailing plant on the top shelf. A trailing plant. I actually don't know what species it is, but that seems like a good guess. Double hung windows. That's right. Roller shades. That's right. Baseboard molding. That's right. Oak hardwood flooring, that is right. Electric ride-on vehicle, all-terrain tires, that's all right. Lime green poof ottoman, but I want them to be on the image. So that's better. Add all the labels to the image. Then it adds all the labels to the image. Again, I don't know if that's actually what that plant is called, so I'm just going to trust Gemini there. But 3.1 has gotten much better at visual reasoning. So it's able to zoom in and see what's going on and think about it a little bit more. It's actually kind of studying it and going, maybe it's that, maybe it's this, coming up with the best possible answer. So not just video, not just audio, but very specific labels for images, very, very specific. Positions between things, learning complex prepositions or prepositional phrases to be able to turn visual stuff into useful descriptions is a very powerful thing. That's very cool. So it's got all of this correctly labeled. Electric ride-on vehicle, all-terrain tires, lime green poof. Okay, that might not be a window sash. Baseboard molding is what that is, though. Roll bar, that is what that is. Wood stool. You could say it's a stool. I don't even know what that thing is called. Oak hardwood flooring and a track launcher. So very well labeled. And in ChatGPT, the lines are all over the place. It looks crazy. It's hard to read the text. Keyboard something, it gets cut off. They're overlapping. Stacking ring toy, it's not a stacking ring toy. Left hand, it's nowhere near the left hand. These are all cut off. I can't even see what those are. So ChatGPT's, and this, I used exactly the same prompts. ChatGPT's response here is a disaster. It's a disaster. It's not correct at all. It's way off. Again, 5.2. This is their most advanced model up against Gemini's most advanced model. Are we getting a vibe here? Is this the end of ChatGPT? Should we keep using it? I don't know. Now, as the final test, I just wanted to see how intuitive Gemini 3.1 could be. It's not about labeling things. It's not technical, but there is a right and a wrong answer. When someone sees this picture, if they've seen Breaking Bad, they should be able to recognize those glasses and that eye, but it's not a photo of Walter White. It's someone sketching, doing a good sketch of Walter White. But I can still tell immediately, okay, that's Walter White's eye. I know that because I know the show. So the question is, what am I looking at? Gemini says, this looks like a hyper-realistic pencil drawing of Walter White, Heisenberg, specifically from Breaking Bad. We're looking at a work in progress. There are iconic details. The characteristic wireframe glasses are a dead giveaway, especially with that specific shattered crack in the left lens. For a long time, AI has been able to look at that and say, that is a sketch of a person's eye, someone wearing glasses, right? Something generic. But to specifically say, that's Walter White, with no other information, that's Heisenberg. That is a level of intuition to get the right answer that just feels different. It feels like we're in a different place now with AI. Gemini 3.1 has frightened me a little bit. I'm a little frightened and I'm a little excited. It's just really, really smart. And I know these are just some limited tests that I'm doing. I'm kicking the tires, but I'm a little scared and a little excited. GPT 5.2, exactly the same prompt. What am I looking at? You're looking at a close-up of a highly detailed pencil drawing in progress. Yes, that's true. It shows an older person's eyes behind eyeglasses. The skin texture, wrinkles, and pores are rendered with fine graphite strokes. Nowhere does this say, and by the way, it's Walter White. It's Heisenberg. And that gap, which might seem like a small gap, I think is actually a rather big gap. Because that's the gap of intuition. That's the gap that goes from accuracy or accurate description of thing to I know what this is. I can tell you what's going on here. I didn't even need to look at both Moby Dicks. You changed one thing and it's Pepto-Bismol, even though I only saw the changed version. I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible. So we're at the very beginning of something pretty crazy, I think. Let me know what you think